Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and welcome to Game 2 of this best of 3 from the Zotac Cup, and of course it is from the semi-finals, so these two are definitely wanting to advance to the final, not only to win the prize money from this tournament but also for their January rankings, because the Zotac Cup end of month finals are worth a lot more, and of course you want to be winning that prize pool. So let's introduce these two players. The map, of course, Metropolis. In the lower position we do have the blue Terran player, it is GoOdy, and in the right position we have the red Protoss player, it is Welmu. It is going to be a TvP. In game 1 we saw an interesting build out of GoOdy where he went mech against the Protoss player. Now for many people that is the biggest no-no going. It looked quite scary, it looked quite a big force, but unfortunately for GoOdy, Welmu really countered it hard. He got lots of Zealots, he got Archons, Immortals and a couple of Colossi rather, and as a result he just steamrolled through the army not once but twice. The first time was a bit more mutually destructive, and we did see, unfortunately for Welmu, quite a lot of his army go down, but then the second wave with 3-3 done for the Protoss player, it was painful is the only way to describe it. Welmu just destroyed everything and GoOdy GG'd out straight there. Opening wise, this game I'll be interested to see if they go for the same thing, because we saw a 1-Rax command center out of GoOdy, which is a very solid opening. Out of Welmu, we saw the 1 gate, 1 gas, 1 cyber core, into an expansion, into a robotics facility, and then 2 additional gateways taking them up to 3. So really, really standard play from Welmu. It was probably the most standard build you can get against Terran at the moment. And for GoOdy, it all seemed very normal until he started making lots of factories, and at which point we were all surely scratching our heads, being a little bit confused as to what he was hoping to achieve. And it looked like it had potential, because he did some great job of Hellion harassment, picking off probes here and there, getting expansions, and with all that you just end up scratching your head a little bit. So all in all, maybe GoOdy will mix it up, maybe he'll go back to the much more normal Marine Marauder medevac style play, maybe some drops coming in, because of course there's so much dead space around here, and they are in the close by air positions, so as a result drop play is going to be very effective potentially. So we'll wait and see if that goes down. Maybe some kind of Banshee, a Cloak Banshee opening is also quite probable. Meanwhile though, for Welmu, I reckon we're going to see really quite standard play. I reckon we'll get straight away down the Nexus after this Cyber Core's finished up, and just see him take the expansion, get the Robo, get the gateways out, and just hold quite comfortably. And there's no real reason he wouldn't go for that unless he had something very specific planned, but there's no second gas, so that really does limit your options as a Protoss player to either expanding or going for a 4-gate, and I very highly doubt it'll be a 4-gate on this map. GoOdy though, he's got his expansion coming down and he's now getting second barracks, so things finally looking a bit more normal. There's the third barracks, we'll see 2 gas after, so Marine Marauder medevac is in store for GoOdy right now. Meanwhile though, the Robo coming down slightly earlier than we saw previously, and it's hidden, so are we going to see some War Prism harassment? It is certainly a possibility, it hasn't been scouted, so that straight away to GoOdy should be a little bit of a red flag, like, ooh, what's going on? I need to be careful here, because when you see things hidden out to the side, you've always got to be a little bit curious. 2 more gateways being added on, no expansion, and GoOdy really needs to find out that expansion isn't there, because if he is able to scout that, he should be fine. Yes, there are some Zealots coming across, but this bunker will be able to deal with it. Another small tell you've got here is the fact that there's 2 Zealots and not a Stalker Zealot, which we saw in game 1. And actually when we're putting back that second Zealot, and I think that's quite wise in this situation, because it is a big giveaway seeing 2 Zealots. So, yep, there we go. Zealot pushed back. There's not really too much coming out. We do have the War Prism on its way, so as I thought, drop play is en route. We've got 4 gates with the drop. It's going to hurt if it's not scouted. Essentially now, GoOdy needs to know, and whoever this person in the observer chat is, they are brilliant. They are just pointing out things that are happening in the game. They did it in game 1 as well, so yep, War Prism is indeed happening. That is good news for us, because GoOdy doesn't really seem to have any clue it's coming at the moment. Of course, these units will get loaded up along with the additional Zealot that was already warped into the main, and as we can see, GoOdy is not prepared for this right now. He does have a decent number of Marines though, so as long as he reacts quickly, he may stand a chance, but in comes that War Prism. It is going to do a lot of damage. It's not even getting noticed yet, so another wave of warp-ins, that is a lot of units, and down comes the factory, and with that factory, suddenly GoOdy sees everything, and he's going to be like, oh my god, oh dear, this is problems. He's running all the Marines over. The Marines don't have stim or combat shield or any upgrades, so just pure unupgraded Marines against this. The SCV is getting pulled, and actually GoOdy doing a great job by pulling those SCVs so quickly. He's able to do a nice amount of damage. The SCVs aren't going down too quickly, as we can see. Welmu has killed 9, but with a command center, with his second orbital command, GoOdy doesn't have to worry too much. He knows his opponent won't have an expansion if he's done this, and therefore he can afford to lose quite a few workers because he's got mules there as well. The Stalkers are getting cleaned up. The War Prism is still there, just survives a little bit of health. If that had gone down, the next wave of Warpins would not have been possible. But to be honest, GoOdy, he's held this very easily now. He needs to pick off that War Prism though, because if he doesn't, he will run into problems. The Marines there, happily stutter step micro all the way back, picking off the Zealots as cost effectively as possible. And with that, this push has been shut down. Without the expansion, Welmu is still economically behind. He might have 3 more workers, but when you factor 2 mules in, that's not so good. But still, the War Prism survives. And if that War Prism was down now, GoOdy would have cleaned all of this up. But with the War Prism still there, with more Stalkers coming out, it's problems for GoOdy, and he still hasn't dealt with it. And if only he picked that off, and I don't understand why he didn't, to be honest, because with that War Prism up, those additional waves of Stalkers have just done so much more damage if we look here, and that actually has knocked GoOdy back quite a long way. Luckily not losing too many more workers though. He is going to clean this up finally now, but look at this, a second War Prism has come in, and with that, GoOdy is still struggling. He's having to put all of his SCVs. He's in complete crisis management mode now, and all in all, if you are in this situation, make sure you kill that War Prism if you've attacked it, because otherwise this can happen. The Zealots going to town on the orbital command, but still no expansion down from Welmu. He's completely committed to this. He's had no probe production for a long time, just staying at 23. GoOdy has matched him in 23 workers now by constantly producing SCVs behind this. The tech lab unfortunately gets taken out. That means upgrades are going to be a bit later, but the Stalker numbers getting good. He needs to pick off that War Prism though, and if he was able to pick that off, it'd be good news for him. He's trying to finish off the rest of the Zealots, push back Stalkers a bit more. The War Prism is forced to pull back for the moment, and well, as we see, those Stalkers going down, and if only that War Prism was taken out, it would have been such a more comfortable position. But Zealots warping in because the gas is very low for Welmu at the moment, and with Zealots you can start a step micro away from them to minimize the damage they can do. But of course the warp is still coming, but the trickle is finally coming to an end. The Stalker is going to go down now. The Marine production has still been solid. GoOdy banking up an awful lot of minerals as well, and that SCV gets a kill on the Stalker. You little hero SCV, you. I bet everyone loves him, and he's going to get a beer ball for him tonight. That is how good he did. The warp isn't on its way back over, but it's going to walk straight into a lot of Marines. So luckily, Welmu is paying attention and pulls it straight back out of there. He does not want to be dealing with that, and instead just expands behind. But as we can see, 31 to 21 workers now. GoOdy, of course, with the 2 orbital commands, means the double mule. He's getting up his starport now, and with that, he's going to start the medevac production. He's getting more barracks down, and with the medevacs, you're going to get so much better, because there's no way Welmu has got much tech. He's committed so much of his gas in order to get down more War Prisms. He's just getting the robotics bay now, so the Colossus is going to be a long way back, and to be honest, GoOdy should be absolutely ace to deal with it. He could do with getting a bit of information about what's going on here, so hopefully he'll scan in the near future, but without this second base, the Colossus production is going to be low anyway. The work account we see slowly climbing up for Welmu, but he's against as a Terran player who is getting 2 SCVs at a time. A Zealot has warped in down here, but it's just the one Zealot, and of course the Marines will clean it out. It gets picked up quite quickly. The rest of the Marines staying up here, making sure that not too much can come in there, so that's nice. The additional 2 barracks just about to finish up. Stim and combat shield on their way. That's really quite critical. The missile turret is a great choice as well, just in case DTs could be coming, but as we can see, GoOdy is in a very nice spot. He's nearly doubles the supply of his opponent, and as a result, I'm not too worried for him. Welmu, he needs to get this tech out. He needs some good engagements, and what he really needs is to not have that Viking on its way, because if Vikings are on their way, you straight away run into some issues. This Zealot harassment is still going nicely, but well, Viking picks off the War Prism, and with that, that's an end to any of that aggression. The single Hellion is great for scouting, going to come in, may even get some probe kills right now. Pulling a couple of probes, trying to get them out of the way, because there's only the Stalker here, which is a long way back. One probe does go down. The Hellion's still going to just keep running around. May just try and get a couple more kills, or at least one more. Go on, little Hellion, you can do it. You can do it, little Hellion. You can get one more. There you go, Hellion. Good work. And he now pulls back. The Colossus about to pop out. That's the first Colossus on the field, of course. And when we look at this force for GoOdy, it's fairly huge. Until you get your Colossi count up to 3, 4, just purely stimming in to come and kill it and snipe it off is going to be huge. There's no gateway support either. There's no sentries on the field at all, which means no force fields to block out this army. There's 2 Vikings in here as well. And with that, I'm expecting to see GG go down very shortly. There's just nothing Welmu can do in this situation, unfortunately. He's got so little. The pylon now gets picked up, doesn't get cancelled either. That's a bit of a shame. And with the Colossus there, it doesn't have extended thermal lance, which means its range is going to be a bit of an issue. The Vikings get a volley off, and in come this stim, and there's the GG from Welmu, who knew he's not going to be able to deal with that. So, that means GoOdy levels up this series 1-1. Remember everyone, if you like the video, please subscribe, like the video, and leave a cool comment, and then flick over to my channel. I will see you at Game 3, the final game of the series, in just one moment.